last week was about as bad as you could be if you're Bryce Young. 17 of 25, 124 yards, an interception, and losing to the 2-win New Orleans Saints. And I said last week, I was hoping that this was just a bad day, a slump, that Bryce Young would have a get-back game against the Atlanta Falcons. And deep down, I really thought that he would play well. Bryce has always played well against the Falcons. It's just been kind of his thing. And he definitely did have a get-back game. But I wasn't expecting this. 448 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 turnovers. And best of all, the Panthers beat the Falcons. We sweep them for the first time since 2013. That 448 yards is the most yards in a game ever by a Panthers quarterback, passing Cam Newton, who had 432 yards back in 2011 against the Green Bay Packers. The most impressive part about this performance is the fact that Bryce Young was literally playing on a bum ankle. He got sacked early by Billy Bowman, went to the locker room, missed the whole defensive drive, which ended in a Bijan Robinson touchdown. And I was like, great, here comes Andy Dalton. And basically in my head, I thought this game was over. Because must we remember the last time Dalton was on the field? But as I'm watching the kickoff and they show Andy Dalton on the sideline, I'm like, wait a minute. That's Bryce Young with his helmet on, warming up. I'm like, dog, there's no way he's already back. And sure, it started slow. Penalties and just missed timing ruined a lot of our early drives when Bryce came back. Plus, our defense just could not stop Bijan Robinson. I mean, the Falcons were having their way on offense. Michael Penix actually looked somewhat competent. But the final drive in the half, down 7-21, even though we ended up only getting a field goal, I knew there was a chance Bryce had played a good game on an ankle that was probably at 75%. His mobility was definitely taking a hit, and the Falcons were able to contain Rico Dowdle on the ground. So I knew that this offense was going to have to fall on our number 1 overall pick if we wanted to win this game. Bryce Young was going to have to step up. And he had played fine so far. Actually, you could make the argument that it was one of his best halves of his career. But he needed to pick it up out of the break. Whoever said that Bryce Young can't throw downfield is actually stupid. Because if that was the case, if Bryce Young can't throw down the field, if he can't throw further than 8 yards, then explain the 20-yard bomb to Jalen Coker right out of the half. Or how about on the very next play? Put this one up on the screen, please. Young drops into the bucket for Xavier Legette. 36-yard touchdown. Perfect ball. If this ball is any more inside, it's getting batted down. If it's any more out in front, it's overthrown and it's going through the goalpost. This play, the Xavier Legette touchdown, who Xavier Legette had a great game of his own. But this touchdown really built Panthers momentum. You could see the shift on the sideline. Like the belief, hey, we can win this thing. BY definitely had some scares, especially that 4th and 1 where he basically just fell to the ground grabbing his ankle. But he came back. Like, yes, he wasn't mobile and he had to be a pocket quarterback. I mean, his mobility was gone. I got to tell you something. You can dislike Bryce Young all you want. I don't really care. But what you cannot say about the kid is that he's not tough. Bryce Young is one of the toughest quarterbacks in the NFL. He takes so many hits and he just stands tall, or as tall as 5'10" can be. And he just makes plays in the clutch. I don't know what it is about big moments late in games, but Bryce Young delivers almost every single time. The late touchdown pass to T-Mac that got us the lead for a little bit before our special teams literally sold and gave Atlanta an easy field goal. It literally fed families. Like, it was an absolute dot. It was exactly where it needed to be. Even in overtime, like Bryce Young hurt was still good enough to tear apart the Falcons defense. I know that the play of overtime was the Tommy Tremble where it was basically just a drag route and he took off running. He broke some tackles, stiff-armed a guy. That was unreal. I mean, Tommy Tremble had an amazing play there. But Bryce Young is who won the Panthers this game. I said last week that if the Panthers want to have success, our number 1 overall quarterback is actually going to have to beat opposing teams. Against the Falcons this week, Bryce Young beat the Falcons. We don't win without this dude. There's no way. He was making throw after throw after throw. I want to say that I'm very happy we got the win. I'm very happy that Bryce Young had a career day. But moving forward, how we ran our offense this week needs to be the norm. It shows that when we get protection, when we get plays developed, 9 can make plays downfield. Trust our young receivers. They're going to get better with time. But also, this game needs to be a stepping stone into the consistency for Bryce Young. No more of this 115, 120-yard games where he looks very uncomfortable and like a shell of what he was this week. I want to see second half of 2024 Bryce Young the rest of this year. I don't want to see turnover, fumble-heavy Bryce. That's not fun. And you can tell he doesn't have fun. I want to see Alabama Bryce with the visor and just the aura. When Bryce Young is playing good football, the aura is just immaculate. I believe if he does these things, that we compete for the division. We're only a half game back from Tampa Bay. And I'm going to be honest, Tampa Bay is hitting their roughest patch of their schedule, and they're also just not playing as well. I don't think it's impossible that we split with Tampa Bay. I don't think we sweep them. But if Bryce Young continues to play like this, it does open up the run. Because defenses have to respect our quarterback, which is something I can't say that they've had to do recently. Dave Canales, keep the playbook open. We see what works. Bryce is so good in these moments. Like when everybody's out on him. When you're out on him, I mean, I've even been out on him some this week. I mean, not completely like, okay, I'm ready to get a new quarterback, anything like that. But I was definitely concerned. I mean, that's why I made the video I did. But when he's down, that's when he's really dangerous. That's when he shows up. That's when he's clutch. And for the Falcons, come on. We own the Falcons this year. We swept them in all of 2025, going back to last year. We're 3-0. Bryce Young owns the Falcons. He owns Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And he owns the state of Georgia. And that goes back to his Alabama days. I'm so hyped right now. Keep freaking pounding. Bryce Young better be the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. That man is a bad, bad dude. Bryce Christopher Young. Or maybe we should say Bryce Young. Let's go, man.